Welcome, and welcome back to the Corporate Culture Clash track this afternoon. It's so nice to still see so many people around here in this room. Did you actually know that we never had so many different generations on the work floor that are so distinct from each other right now? We have the Generation Z, we have Millennials, we have Generation X, and we have the baby boomers. And I'm actually curious to hear, to see in the room, who do we have present? Do we have some boomers here? Raise your hand if you're born before 1964. Yes, thank you. Not so many, yes, representing the baby boomers. You started your career in an offline world. How did you do that? I can't even imagine. So, then we have Generation X. Raise your hands if you're born between 1965 and 1980. Should be a few more, yes. And then my fellow millennials between 1981 and 1996. Yes. Yeah, that's a big group. And then Generation Z, where are you? 1997 and 2012. Yeah, probably less around that, not the younger end. Oh, that's really nice. It's not how it's usually represented in the workplace, because in the workplace still millennials and Gen X, we are the biggest group, traditionally. And we are all curious still what drives Generation Z, what drives our young colleagues. We talk today about the topic more from a recruitment perspective and HR, and now I'm really excited to have our keynote speaker here to give us more insights on generational differences, also on the work floor, and providing us with some answers. With over 15 years of leadership experience in the hospitality industry and as president of the HMSA Germany, he has been at the forefront of shaping industry trends and helping businesses adapt to the changing needs of both guests and employees. Since November, he has taken on a new role as the general manager of So Berlin, das Du. Please welcome to the stage, Seif Rosenberg.
Hello. I did a presentation, but I think it's really not a good presentation, so I thought I will talk. Because all the Generation Z, why I'm a boomer. I'm sorry to say it. I'm one and only, but we have a few boomers here. And it's for me, it's challenging all the time, and it's good for me to work with all the generations, because I learn everything. They try to learn me something. It's partly they can do it, and partly I'm too stubborn for it because I'm Generation Boomer. Work-life balance. Since 2015, when I opened before a hotel in Berlin in I-31, I didn't have a problem to get new employees. And then 2015, I saw we got a problem. Houston, we have a problem. We are not getting employees as we wanted to. And I think we have been in the hotel one of the first to say, okay, we have to do something. And then we also saw the change in the generation. What do the Generation Z or Y really, what do they want? They don't want to work like me. They want to have work-life balance. They want to enjoy, and they want to see a reason why should I work in a hotel. In my generation, again, work, hours, and then we really try to understand what can we do to get good young people to work in a nice boutique hotel. And we started to give the people, the employees, massage. We tried to free transportation passes, trainings programs, staff meals, parties, and then we did also recruiting videos. And we have been the first, and until now, one of the only one that really make quite funny recruiting videos, because we made laugh of ourselves, or I did laugh of myself, and then to understand. And then we managed really to get young people that love to work in our hotel. then I learned, when I went to Amano, the world can be different. What do the generation really want? Life-work balance, they want a structure, they want a philosophy. Why should I work in a company? What is the target of the company? Is this sustainability there? Some question that we didn't have before many years. So now it went to change. And I had some interviews with new employees, and they said, "What is your vision? What is your vision of the hotel?" And I thought, yeah, it's a good question. What is the vision? The vision of Amano is the owner. He wants party, 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 and then you vodka, 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 and that's okay. It's a good plan. It makes lots of money, but for young generation Z or Y, it is not enough. They want to see what is the philosophy. What is you're going on the gastronomic at the hotel? Which kind of customers do you want in the hotel? And it was not clear. It's a good company. Don't understand me wrong. It's really a good company, but no philosophy. And then I really saw, okay, it's times change, and there is and there conflicts begins, because many employees say, okay, I don't want to work there anymore because I don't understand it. I don't want to work so many hours. I want to have free time. And then started to, I think 25 hours, started sometimes to say 4-day working, not 5-day working. And then I asked them, how do you do it? Because you don't have enough employees on the one side, but you give them 1 day off, so you're missing 20% of your employees. How do you get the employees? So in the last 10 years, it's really 10 years, what everything happened, it was a huge change to run a hotel, and a hotel business is not a bank. You cannot say the cook, make your home office. You cannot say in the housekeeping, clean go somewhere else to clean you have to be in a hotel. And so we in the hotel industry, we really have to think double. How can we make the change in the industry? And this is not so easy. In the accounting, it's easy. You give them a computer, they make everything. In the other sales, revenue, you can do it. So I think what we until now didn't understand, we have really difficulty to bring this to our industry, and also what is happening the Generation Z and Y, they're not radical, but they want it, and we have to fill the hotel, and we have to also to bring the the guests are coming to the hotel and they want a service. So me in the Stur hotel, the guests are paying a lot of money for the room. If someone knows the Stur hotel, they're paying a lot of money. They're paying 300, 400, 500 euro a night, and they want service. So there we have to bring the generation and the service together. And this is really not easy all the time to do it. And we also work with our HSMR association with mostly young people. And now we are thinking about it, how to bring the young people with the older people together. You need the experience and the young ideas together. And I think this is the main challenge that we have today, to bring all the generation together. Everybody can bring something from themselves, that the industry, the hotel industry, should be a successful industry with many good new talents that are coming to us. And I think I'm now, with 10 seconds, exactly what I wanted to say.
Thank you so much, Seif. Please have a seat. And it's really great to hear that we're not only talking about what Gen Z needs, but also about the differences with the other generations. And now I'm also excited to actually, in the panel that we have, the expert panel, to talk about more what drives young people at the workplace, maybe also in comparison to other generations. And I will co-hosting this together with Felix Siemeyer, who is a PhD candidate at the Catholic University of Eichstätt-Ingolstadt. His research focuses on the future of work, particularly how new work principles like co-workation impact employees, companies, and destinations. He also supports the Green Transformation Competence Center, helping the tourism industry adapt to changing workforce dynamics and sustainability demands. Please welcome Felix Siemeyer.
Hello everyone, also a warm welcome from my side to our panel discussion, What Drives Young People? And I have the pleasure to introduce our panel guests for our discussion we will have today. The first guest I like to introduce is the head of Visit Iceland, part of the business unit, Business Iceland. She's an experienced manager in international trade and development. She worked a lot abroad, for example, in Costa Rica, and she's a holder of one of her 5 degrees, I have to add. She is a holder of a degree of international human rights. Please welcome Oddný Arnarsdóttir. Welcome, Oddný. Our second guest for our panel discussion. She is the founder of Meet Read, the newest booking platform for private-run unique hostels, castles, fincas, and especially team offsite locations. Her goal is, her decent goal, to build the biggest event platform in the world with AI and direct booking solutions in business to business. Furthermore, she has 15 years of experience in hospitality, revenue management, and she's passionate about giving the hospitality more visibility as a sector and to evolve in a dynamic and sustainable way for the next generation. Please welcome Saskia Klinde. Our fourth guest, she's in her mid-20s and Jen Setter, a current master student of our university, the University Eichstätt-Ingolstadt. She's studying tourism and sustainable regional development. She recently came back from, surprise, Costa Rica from an internship at a remote Costa Rican coffee farm, and she's now looking into finding a topic and then writing her master thesis. Please welcome Elena Tofeas. So we have a very nice panel here. I'm looking forward for our discussion, and I would like to with you, Saskia. Saskia, we've seen the presentation, we've heard a lot from Steph. In this context, is work-life balance a real necessity or just a generational trend? And how important is new work for young people?
Okay, wow, many questions. Work-life balance. Okay, I'm not quite sure if this is still the right name for it, because I heard that work-life blending is the new thing we need to talk about. So it's very interesting that work-life balance means that we need the balance between everything, but the new generation and the other generations, they need to adapt with technology, and it's not that easy to say I'm working and I am on vacation, because it needs combination, and that means work-life blending. So first of all, I just want to add that this is such a new trend, which is quite interesting. So if you're looking at, I don't know, ChatGPT or someone asking what's work-life blending. So I see it very different, that we need to make sure that we need to make sure that everything is a combination, but we need to use technology and other things very carefully, in which way we need to use that and why we need to use that. But that's the first thing. And new work. I think the new generation and the other generations too are aware of that we don't have a planet B, and everyone is looking for a solution for kind of everything for themselves. Everyone is value driven. I think this is a common thing which has affected every person in the room. It's not just the new generation, other generations too. And yeah, it's a value driven thing. It's about desire acceptance, it's about digital freedom, so many things at the same time. And I think that's also part of new work, because in 2035, so 10 years, we have Generation Y, Alpha, and then Z, with almost 60% in the world in about 10 years, which is very interesting. So we need to be prepared.
Exactly. Saskia, coining a new term, work-life blending, and Saif, you also referred already to 25 hours, experimenting with a 4-day work week. And what we usually hear from managers or from hotel operations is that those new work principles, that they're actually, those are something for the headquarters. They're not for the operations where people really need to be present. What's your take on this?
Yeah, it's like this. So in the reception, housekeeping, or in the kitchen, we have really problems to give this kind of work-life balance. And the headquarter and the offices, they have it much easier to say it. And then you have the problem: why do they have a 4-day week, or why they make home office and have to cook in the kitchen? So the industry is not easy to handle with this new work-life balances, whatever we have. I think this is also to manage a hotel. I didn't have the problems. I think many problems are they're telling it outside, but in the hotel you don't have so much the problems. In the operation, the people want to work. I think they want to also to get a good salary. This is in this case really important. I have to send my cook home because he wants to work, but the industry is a bit crazy. It was all the time crazy. So we are very conservative industry, and it will stay conservative because we're talking about to make it digital everything, but we are looking all the time back to the roots. And a kitchen is a kitchen, and we don't have robots in the kitchen.
Not yet.
Not
on the hospitality tech stage was the topic about that. But then it's interesting because you just said, actually in the operations we don't have the problem. And what is it then? What drives young people in the hotel operations that they don't need the new work principles?
I think in an industry you have the problem. You have the chance to. You can make you can be a cook in Germany, in Iceland, in Australia, in Israel, or in Dubai, and you can make check-in in the same countries because the systems are quite same. And I think young people want to, and it's okay, to travel also, to have experience, work experience, and this is a good thing. We have to understand the generations and to speak with them. I think the communication must be clearer with the employees. And this is our problem that we have. And it's sometimes radical between Generation Z and my generation. So we have to find a compromise between all of the generations and to find, okay, let's start something, let's talk, and then I think in the last years I found the good way, the middle way to manage a good hotel successful also.
Nice, thank you very much. I think that's also a good transition to our next topic, the differences in generations and bringing them together.
Eleanor, as a Gen Z professional in tourism and hospitality, what do you think is the biggest misconception that older generations have about your generation in the workplace?
Well, I think there are quite a few misconceptions between the generations because there might be a lack of conversation between them. But for me, the biggest misconception, and I really hate when somebody tells me that, is that we have a lack of work motivation, because this is not true. We just value different things. And for example, if I might add to what you just said, Zev, for example, when I'm looking for work, I also check the destination. So I am totally open to work in a hotel. So I actually need a job, so maybe we can talk about this as well. But I'm looking at the destination. So maybe I will have my 5-week that is fine, I'm working, but I can do it in Spain, I can do it in Iceland. I think there are networks between hotels, and these conversations are super important to accommodate everybody's wishes without having just robots at the kitchen or at the check-in. So I think there's just another perspective about how me and my generation, I guess, are working and what they want to do. Yeah.
Saskia, do you want to add something to that?
Workations, you know. I mean, that's what I exactly talking about every day, also with my team, because at Retreat, we are scouting unique properties for workations, and I think that workation, this is something which is important for companies when it comes to employee branding, that companies needs to offer that, or that at least they need to have an answer on that. Not everyone can offer a workation model, but I think it's important to translate this topic within the company culture, that something like that is happening in the world at the moment, that people are looking for a workplace where they can do workations or other things. And work and vacation, of course, this is something which will affect, I mean, we have more than 40% in the world offering hybrid model working in companies, so we need to face on that also in hospitality. But of course, Sebas is completely right that hospitality is different. I mean, I started as a hotel trainee with cleaning the rooms and the things we need to do, and that was one of the most exciting time of my year, of my life. So I think it's also important to go a little bit deeper in those kind of tasks. But on the other hand, to experience something like that, to be more flexible and to have that, what I said at the beginning, the desire acceptance, because everyone have their own desire, and we need to make sure that we are hearing those kind of desires of everyone.
Yeah, the topic of communication I've heard several times today, actually, and really truly listening to each other, listen to connect instead of reacting. Odni, in Iceland is famous for its progressive work culture, particularly in terms of gender equality and work-life balance, or blending, like we heard just now. How, according to your experience, these values, how do they shape what Gen Z expect from leaders?
Well, yeah, thank you. It is, of course, and maybe, I'm not Gen Z, so, couldn't speak maybe on their behalf. But well, it's interesting hearing, the discussions here, because I would say it is a very different work culture, I guess, that we have in Iceland.
Yes.
And I mean, well, in recent times, we had a pilot project going on in Iceland, shortening the work week from 40 hours down to 35 hours. And the majority of the workforce is now either on a shorter work week, even taking it down to 4 days a week, or flexible working hours. And I think this is, it is possible to do. Of course, there are problems with, different sectors, outside of hospitality, that is. And there are challenges, but we are overcoming them, and not slowly and short, but actually quite fast. And then there's also within work, well, I would say, there's also this kind of hierarchical kind of, we don't have that really in Iceland, right? We always use first names, and I will just call my CEO if I need, on a daily basis, or so there's never this kind of, there's no kind of barriers in that in that sense. Of course, there is not utopia. That is not what I'm saying, but it is, so it's actually very interesting to hear. Maybe there are different barriers, maybe also between countries, but it is true. We are, and we have focused on gender equality, and this goes for every layer of the society, right? And gender, then I mean, all genders and inclusivity. And I think this for Gen Z is also very important. And there was actually a survey amongst the youngest generation of the workforce in Iceland, and what they thought was equality and sustainability of the workplace. And I think it's important exactly to get those views so you can also change, the culture accordingly. But then there's also this sense of just belonging and feeling, and because you spend though a lot of time at work, and it is also important to feel that you belong, Well, at least I would think so. So yes, workation is something, but you also maybe want the sense of community also. So I think there must be a balance between all of this.
Yeah.
So and work balance is, I feel technology has actually kind of blurred the lines again, especially maybe during pandemic, and it blurred the lines between kind of family life and work life for many people. And I think we still have to take steps, back and maybe just move away from being always online and maybe just back to the kind of, the phones just with the buttons phone.
We all go offline. We all go offline.
But there are these things.
Yeah.
I think we have to maybe, just also. Yeah,
it's true. In the Netherlands right now, there's a discussion going on prohibiting smartphones to give the kids their youth back. That's one of the examples.
Scandinavia.
Yeah.
They're not giving computers, or they want to make offline and not online. And I think this is really, if everybody is sitting at home and make home office, you get what is this? You have no social connection anymore. So I think it's a good middle way to find, and I think that to talk to people, it helps sometimes also to find mistakes or to how to do it better.
I also feel, I'm sorry, that there is a lot more of empathy. If, for example, you are allowed to talk to your boss on first name basis. We went actually on an excursion in South Tyrol last year, if I'm not mistaken, and there in a hotel they decided to just try it out, that everybody is on first name basis, and the owner actually said that he feels more accepted in the team and therefore can also give orders easier, I guess, because they have a more friendly communication. Back to communication, but I feel like empathy is something really important, especially if there is a business that is fast-paced in 1 minute and then you have a super slow night and nobody has something to do and they all just try to not fall asleep.
Yeah, and I think like what you say, Odni, I recognize it's also from the Netherlands where I live and work. The hierarchies are more flat than here in Germany where I was born and raised. And you also say, it's also a sense of belonging and a commitment. And I think that's something that older generation need to really set an example. Yeah, we cannot expect for the younger generations to the younger colleagues to come up to us. And I think very practical things like first name basis going on, and then show empathy and be open towards it. That might be a first practical step.
This brings us already to our last topic of our panel discussion, the purpose of work. Elena, how important is it for you to find purpose in your work, and what does that look for you?
I feel like purpose is a super strong word, because what really is purpose? How do I find it in work if I'm also trying to live a life, have hobbies, meet friends, start a family, I don't know, build a house, whatever people want to do. And I feel that if I know that my work is valued at the company I'm working at, then I feel a sort of belonging, and then I can also find a purpose and coming back and doing the work, doing the time. And if I also know that alongside with value of what I'm doing, there is a sense of acceptance for my needs and my interest in work-life blending or flexible hours, even if it's not met, but it's heard, then I feel like I can align myself more with the company, and I'm more joyous to start working, even if it's at 6 in the morning.
Yes, and we still have a few minutes left. Going back to the purpose, or going maybe a little bit deeper into purpose. Safe, where do you see that people in hospitality find their purpose?
First, I think if someone's going to the hospitality, he knows that the work is different, because it's a lot of work to do. It's hours that you have. And the purpose is, I think, if you decide to go to the hospitality, and you talked also, if you're looking for a job, I learned that candidates are looking on TripAdvisor or Google to see the reviews. Then you go in Germany, you have Kununu, you have a review for the for employees. And then you see, okay, you want to go to Berlin or to Bad Salzuflen. So it's a different place. You want to go in a big city or in a small city. You want to go to Iceland or somewhere else. And I think this, and then it's a personal thing if you're going, if you say, okay, you want to go to the Stur and accept, and then to have a good, I think the employee has to know he feels good to work there. And I think this is so important. Yeah. The industry is really a hard industry at the end of the day. And many people are going away from the industry because it's a hard industry. And not to say not just the hard people make it, it's not because if you're in a different age, you don't want to work so much. And I think the industry is nice, but you have to bring the employees also the feeling that it's worth to work there.
Yeah, it's a strong sense of community that we need to build all together.
Can I just jump in there? Just because, well, you talked about purpose and maybe different purposes, for different reasons, right? And I think that is just also part of the society, is how you build purpose at different times in life, right? But society has to also have the means for you to be able to fulfill the purposes at any given time in your life, right? And I think there are things that you, and again, we've done that. I would say in many ways well in Iceland. So if you leave for maternity leave, for example, they're completely equal between mothers and fathers, and you can't give up your time to the other parent. So which makes it all kind of equal also. So it also gives you a chance to return to work if you want to, or stay longer. And then affordable daycare, for example. So if you're kind of driven in career, that you actually can do that without, feeling, the guilt or because you're just, everything's kind of taken care of, we could say. So it is, of course, different in different times in life. You have different values and purposes that you're seeking, but the society has to be be with you there to kind of achieve these different moments in life.
No. And we are now out of time. I think that's a great closing statement. I would like to thank you all for sharing your insights. We heard about the actually big words, work-life blending, sense of belonging, purpose at work. Those are all concepts we have been hearing about throughout the day, but it sounds maybe very easy, and it sounds easy to understand, but it's actually very difficult to implement. And so it's important that we continue to have the discussion together, and that we give more seats at the table to Generation Z and the next generation. And I'd like to thank you all for being here today. And let's continue the conversation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.